Welcome everybody to the Table Rush Talk Show. Today's interview is with Raphy Feolino. At the time of this recording, him and his wife have a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old, and for the last 2 years, they have been building the Holy Couples Coaching Program, where they are transforming relationships and catapulting couples into beautiful marriages. Now, Raphy and I and his wife have been in the same coaching program, and I've gotten to see him start from absolute scratch as retired out of the military, as a young man with a brand new family, and they've started from scratch building this company, the ups and downs of it, the trials and tribulations, starting podcasts, hosting summits, and just really being stretched to the limit. This interview is so much fun. There's a ton to be learned from Raphy, and he gives all us entrepreneurs, fledgling entrepreneurs, a ton of hope. Listen in and enjoy this interview with Raphy. You know when someone is selling from stage, and at the end, the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Misha Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy. Welcome back, everybody, to the Table Rush Masterclass, where we get back to the marketing and sales basics to help entrepreneurs like you grow your business to 1 million annual revenue and beyond with Raphy and holy mackerel, I had your last name, Feolino, Raphy Feolino. Welcome back. And Sarah would be here, but we've got a 2-year-old and a 2-week-old or 2-month-old of this as of this recording.
Yeah, 3-month-old.
The 3-month-old. So congratulations.
Woo. Thank you.
Yeah, and anybody listening, go check out part 2, where we talk about Raphy and Sarah's Holy Couples Coaching Program and how powerful that is, and how you're literally transforming relationships, and you're catapulting couples into beautiful marriages, I guess what I would say. So, well done.
Yes.
Entering
marriage with momentum.
Ooh, I like it. Entering marriage with momentum. And, again, we're in this same coaching program. It's called the 2 Club X, or the 2CCX. It's a high-end coaching program. It's through Russell Brunson, who's an amazing mentor for both of us, obviously. And I really wanted to have you on here because I've got to experience your journey over the last year and a half through this 2CCX window. And I've got to see you go through the ups and downs and find your voice and things like that. And I just thought, what a awesome opportunity to talk about that and your ups and downs with building this marriage, this relationship coaching program with Sarah, and having kids in the midst of it, and all of that, right?
It was difficult, Misha. Just like you sharing that, I'm like, man, how the heck did we get through that? Like, it's God's grace for sure, but man, it was difficult. But we're here and we're still at it.
Yeah. So tell me, when did you join the 2CCX? Let's start there.
Oh man. Okay. So I was serving in the military, in the United States Air Force. And it was at that time where I had to decide if I should re-up my contract or leave.
Okay.
And it was hard. I know deep down my heart, I didn't really enjoy what I was doing in the military. It wasn't something I would wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to work and all these things. It was just it was a dread. And if anything, it was the stress was affecting my family and my marriage. And at that time, my wife just gave birth. we had like our first daughter. She was about a month old, and I had to make that decision. Like, do I leave? Like, this is our sense of security as a family. Like, this is like, she wasn't working. I was the only one working. Like, should I do this, or
You've
should
got a
we do some?
2-month-old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big pressure. And or should we stay and just continue doing this and not being happy? And I remember a moment where I just talked to my wife in bed. I was still serving at the military at the time, but I just felt like a call from God to leave. And I told her, I just looked at her. I was like, hey, I think I want to leave the military. She's like, really? She's like, I thought you wanted to do this for 20 years. Cause like that's when you could retire and clock out.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, you remember that thing that we were thinking about when we were engaged, that journey to marriage thing? So we talked about journey to marriage when we were engaged. Like this whole concept of helping couples prepare for marriage. Like we thought about that when we were still engaged. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we because she had wedding planning experience. Okay. And I love being a coach. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we like started something and you were like helping with their weddings and I was helping with their relationship, and we called it something like journey to marriage. And then at the time when we were engaged, we laughed at it, and we still continued doing the thing. But in this moment, Misha, I brought that back up. I'm like, what if we did this whole thing that we talked about when we were engaged? Like, what if we helped like all these couples avoid the things that we had to go through? And we were in bed. It was on a work day, and I stayed up. We were talking for hours. We're like, what if we do this? Like, we'll leave. I'll leave, and then we could do this and that and this. And it sounded all great. And finally, like, I had that peace in my heart. I was like, okay, I don't know how this is gonna look like, but I feel like this is where God is leading us. Like, this is something bigger than us, and we should say yes to this call, even though it's scary. And we left the military with a 1-month-old. We had a road trip from Illinois to Las Vegas. And I was out in the military, Misha. I was excited. I was like, oh, we have this idea, this vision. And then I sat down and I was like, okay, how are we going to do this? Like, this sounded so cool. And like, we want to help people, but how are we going to do that? And now I'm out of the military. I'm not making any money. And I have a 1-month-old. And I'm like, this sounded so cool. Like, what the heck did we just do? So we were literally just like, okay, we got to figure this out. How are we going to do this? This sounds great. We left the military. We don't have anything. Like, we had savings, right? Yep. We had, like, if anything, like, goes crazy, like, we have money saved up to provide for the family. So we talked through that. And then
how much money savings, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it was about I would say about 10 months.
Okay.
So if we didn't get paid at all, we would be able to sustain ourselves for 10 months. And I'm like, we could figure that whole thing out if that were to happen. But once I left the military, it was like June of 2020, I left. And then we were like, okay, what the heck do we do? In July, we got targeted an ad by Mr. Russell Brunson about this 2 Comma Club live thing. And I'm like, what is this thing? But in the ad, he had people like pulling up this award, making millions of dollars. And I'm like, I would like some sort of money, because we're not making any money right now. But we're like, what if this is the thing? What if this is the thing that's going to help put our vision into a reality, like turn that into a reality? So we went through his virtual event and our mind was blown. Like, this is our first time getting introduced to ClickFunnels, getting introduced to building a bit. Like, I've done some kind of online business thing, like through Kindle ebooks. I tried selling those, but I wasn't very passionate about, so I closed that down. But this is like our first time, like, oh wow, we could build a real business, like an expert business online. Yeah. And after the 3 days, what does Mr. Russell Brunson do? Oh, here, give me $25,000 to join my coaching program. And I'm just like, man, this is great. Like, that was great. Like, I could see how this thing could really help us, but we don't have that money. We literally have a 1 month old. I'm unemployed now. We're like, it was a mess.
Can I ask you a question quick? Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Do you know how that ad for the Two Comma Club Live ended up in front of you? Do you know what you had opted into for that?
No, I guess I liked him a while back, and then he started running these ads because it was COVID. And okay. I saw it and I was like, okay, let me check this out. Yeah, that was my first like a $97 I paid to him. And then I didn't even do any of his other crap. Like, I went all the way to his freaking coaching program. Like, I never read any of his books. So like, okay, so I want to talk about that investment. I looked to my wife and I was like, haha, wouldn't that be cool to do something like that? I'm like, it's expensive, but we're probably not going to do it. I'm like, but wouldn't that be cool? And then she looked at me and she's like, why not? Like, why should we do, like, we should do this. And I started having all those fears, Misha, like, what are you talking about? Like, being the provider, like, we don't even have that money. Like, I'm unemployed. We're not making any money in our business. Like, we don't even have a business. It's just an idea. Yes. And I'm like, I had all these fears, but it was one of those moments again, Misha, where I had that peace. Like, okay, let me trust my wife in this one. And yeah, like, we already did something scary, like moving across the country with a 1 month old to leave a stable job to do this thing. I'm like, what if this is the thing? Like, what if God allowed this event to happen at the right place? Because we've been praying about, like, how are we going to implement this? And I finally put our credit card information in, got in, and man, we got to work from there.
So
from zero, we started this business from nothing.
From nothing, just an original late night talks with Sarah about, hey, we have some sort of an idea of how we can help couples. So did you $25,000 it right from the start? No,
we did the monthly.
Okay.
But again, we did it on a credit card. We didn't have the cash. So we were like, I have credit for this. We'll figure this whole thing out. Like, yeah.
I want to tell you what I love about your journey, and one of the main reasons I wanted you on here is because I ended up in the 2CCX in the same way. By the way, I just was like, I bought the books, like read a page, and then was like, yeah, let's go the full coaching program. Right, $97 to $25,000. It was crazy. So I love that. I'm not the only, or you're not the only one. I'm not the only one. It's beautiful. We are part of the 1% crazy, as we like to say. But I'm a process guy, right? I'm like, I know you give me the steps. And it's actually one of the things I love about Russell Brunson and the 2CCX. Here's the steps to success, right? You follow these steps, you follow this methodology, and you know what? We'll help you build your following. We'll help you create your course. We'll help you, do boom, boom. We'll help you start and monetizing. And really, monetizing is awesome. It's fun to make money and all that, but really the monetization aspect of it is like proof of service, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, wait a minute here. We are giving our service idea is coming to fruition. So that's so powerful. But I'll get to the point here, but I like the process. I'm like, follow the steps, and we get to watch people get distracted by all these shiny objects. And you and your wife have diligently, as best you can, stood out to me as a couple who has really, here's the step, do it. Here's the step, do it. Would you concur with that?
Yeah, man, we had no choice. We were paying money that we didn't have. Like, we had to figure out how to pay that monthly payment, or else that would rack up. So we were very coachable. Like, coming into the program, we were very coachable. Like, again, we this is our first time really building a real business together. So like the whole like we launched a podcast, we did our summit, like those were all brand new to us. Like the whole marketing thing, because we see people that have been doing this for years. Like we literally started this from nothing, but we were coachable. We were willing to just get uncomfortable and do whatever our coaches were telling us to do. And yeah, we got the results that we wanted, and more, if anything.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what have we created?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Tell me, how hard was it to get the podcast started? Was that a point of frustration where it's like, oh, we're in over our head and you had to battle through that? Or was that an easy step for you?
That was definitely not an easy step because I'm a big perfectionist, Misha. Like, especially being in the military, we're very like rigid and like, hey, you gotta execute. It's gotta be perfect. Like, if it's not perfect, you're gonna like people are gonna die. Like my job. So I saw how I brought that military mentality into business. And it was difficult because I would always like, oh my gosh, I have all these ums and ahs. Like, I'm gonna just ditch that episode. While my wife is like, let's just post it. Just post it. She's very like action taker. Who cares? Just post it. And I'm just like trying to be perfectionist. So we would like butt heads because we would try to do the podcast at the same time. And I'll like pause the podcast. I'm like, you shouldn't have said that. Like, we got to redo the whole thing. Like, it was bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was bad until I got to the point where I'm like, this is not sustainable. And like, this is not fun. This should be fun. Well, this is like us just telling our story and us telling things that actually are working in our relationship for the people who are listening to us. And I started listening to Russell Brunson. I'm like, this guy is just recording from his phone on his drive to work. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I started really just learning how to take imperfect action. And I was like, the faster I put podcasts out, the faster I'm going to learn, the faster I'm going to grow. And now we're at the point where we don't have no like script or anything. Like, it's just press record, whatever God puts in my heart to share with these people. I'm going to trust that those words are the things that he wants us to share. And it's not just me. Like, I feel like I'm being used as a vessel now versus it's just all about me. Like, it's all about my experience. Like, no, I feel like God is using me to share something. And once I hit play, I put that trust in him. I'm like, all right. And it ends up being pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. And it's not as stressful as when we first started off. But yeah, it took a while.
Yeah, it took a while. I remember, if I remember correctly, I saw, it's one of the things that, was a catalyst for this. I remember seeing a post in the Facebook group, like, hey, we've been struggling, but we made it over this podcast hump and we've found our voice.
Yeah. I think it was like over 150 episodes in before we finally got that. Oh, this is like feeling a little natural now. So it was worth it, like doing the daily posting and stuff. I'm glad we got out of our comfort zone and actually did what Russell says, like post daily.
Yeah.
Because it made me take action fast. And now like I'm using what we learned in that into all the other funnels that we're building and all the other things that we're building for our business. So
when you say post daily, what would you include in that posting bucket?
So we just did our podcast. Well, we would post like Monday through Friday.
Okay. Like an episode.
Yeah, an episode. Yep. So we'd batch record everything and then schedule all that out. And then, of course, we have an Instagram as well. So we would like go on Instagram stories. So we would publish on there daily as well. Okay. So yeah, it really forced us to learn.
Yeah. Wow. It's quite, and I think I want to touch on this idea of like, it feels like life and death, right? Especially since you're from your military background where mission critical decisions are life and death. Yep. Now you come into this podcast arena, this marketing arena, and the decisions still feel like life and death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been a struggle for me, like being a veteran and trying to transition to that. And I still struggle with that. I still struggle with like a lot of like mental health issues, and it affects my business life as well. So I'm learning how to like manage that helped me to like be objective as to like what is real, like what's not, and having
Mm.
fun now, like learning to have fun in business versus like it's gotta be blah 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 blah. So thanks to my wife, like she's very like, let's do this, let's have fun, and I'm like, she's helped me to be flexible and to take imperfect action. So I'm really grateful to have her as my business partner, and even though it's challenging as a couple to do it, it's helping me grow.
Amazing. So then we come to the summit, and the summit for me was a Herculean effort, my friend. It almost took me down. Right? And I'm and I'm looking at yours, the Catholic Engaged Summit.com. So anybody watching this, listening, can go to Catholic Engaged Summit.com and want to create a marriage that lasts a lifetime. That's your headline. How would you like to learn the secrets to creating a holy marriage that doesn't just survive, but thrive? Learn from over 60 plus married Catholic speakers to enrich your relationship on the Catholic Engaged Summit. So, very powerful. 60 speakers. What? That's not even right, my friend. So that is insane.
Yeah.
But I just want to emphasize, anybody watching, go check it out. Go to the CatholicEngageSummit.com, and one, just to see what a summit is, because it's awesome, right? That we got to create these gatherings of people and really bring a profound message to market to serve, and people can register for free, right? I don't mean to dwell too much on that, but I'm just looking at your summit funnel. That's the lingo, and it's beautiful. And
we built that. Like my wife built that.
Yeah.
And designed that. We did everything ourselves. We didn't hire nobody. We didn't have the resources to hire nobody.
Yeah.
So
tell me about the process. Like like I said, it almost took me out. It almost took me out of the 2CCX. I was like, I don't somehow my why was strong enough to carry me through and produce my Tools for a Good Life Summit. The Tools for a Good Life Summit was mine. It's beautiful, but you can relate, right? Almost took you out.
Yeah, we had a 1-month-old, man, and we were trying to build this summit thing, and we're trying to do this podcast thing. Like when we did this whole summit thing, that was just ridiculous. Like we were already not having any sleep because we had a 1-month-old, we had a newborn, but now we're trying to build this thing and interview all these speakers ourselves. Because at the time of our business, we didn't have money to hire out certain things. I think we could have, like if we like, but we didn't make a dime. We didn't make a dime before when we were building Summit. So yeah, we were doing everything ourselves, and it was difficult. Like it was all our first time interviewing people. Like I've never done that in my life. So we're doing all the free, super uncomfortable things, like all at the same time. Like, thanks, Russell. Like, you're telling me to do all this right now? Like, really? But again, I'm like, something's gonna have to pay that coaching fee. So I gotta do this. So,
yeah.
It was difficult.
Are you guys, what's the tension on the relationship like at this point? I mean, I know for me, I'm just had my teenage boy living with me, my 18-year-old, and I prepped him like, look, a lot of my time is going to be shifting to this work, to building, my podcast, and creating a summit, to creating this business. Are you okay with me not dedicating as much as my time to you? And he was like, of course, we barely see each other anyway. I'm chasing girls and do whatever he's doing, right? And it's different when you got a relationship, man. Like,
oh yeah, it was very tense, for sure. It was because it was a very stressful time in our lives. We were just moving. We moved into a new place. We moved into my parents' home, so now we're like interacting with like a bunch of other people, and yeah, it was stressful. It because we had to stay up late to try to build this thing. Yeah. So there would be times where there was a moment where my wife came to me, and I was trying to build my funnel, like all that stuff. And she was like, hey, I desire more affection. And I was just like typing and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, okay, yeah, I feel like I am giving you affection. But just like looking back at it, I could see like how much of the work was taking me out of my relationship. And
Yeah.
and how it's crazy because that's what I want to teach people. I want to teach people so they don't be like who I was, where work is just a priority and she's just like on the side. And but it was like those wake up calls. I'm like, wow, like I could see how this is like being drawn out of me, like out of my marriage. But I would get back on track and having to give her that affection, but still it was difficult, like learning how to balance and being new parents at the time and being new business owners. It was stressful. It was a stressful time, but we got through it. And we learned a lot. Like it really just helped us grow stronger as a couple. And we're grateful for that experience, all the challenges that brought us, because now like whatever we do is easy. Cause Summit was like, that was rough. That was the roughest thing to build. Like we were still trying to build the assets when we were like leading up to when it goes live. We're like, man, is our pass like ready? Like it was hard.
Yeah.
But we
So,
got through it.
yeah, beautiful. So everybody that's listening, go to CatholicEngageSummit.com and you can see what we're talking about here. So you provide all this amazing content for people to opt in for free. There's all these incredible, what looks to be 60 interviews. So just a quick, I'm just perusing through it. Jonathan and Amanda Teixeira, merging your money and marriage. Another Christian Merritt, founder of Catholic Marriage Prep. Why should I get married in the church and pre-Kana? You've got building and sustaining sexual intimacy, the Marquette method by Pat and Sarah Tremonti. Just all this amazing, amazing content to help couples and marriages, to help people thrive, right? Mm-hmm. And what we do is we put the summit together. We offer this beautiful, amazing content, all these interviews, these strategies, frameworks for free. Hopefully we start building a list, right? Yeah. People opt in to get this content. And then you had a VIP option as well, or no?
No, we just we had an all access pass.
Okay.
So they had access to all the interviews post summit.
And was that you were charging for that?
Yeah, we were charging for that.
Awesome. So
yeah, that was our first sale. Like when we launched that funnel and I saw a $47 transaction, like I think the next day it's like, what? People want this. Like, I hope people want this because we put so much time and effort and energy in building this. So this was actually for engaged couples.
Okay.
Because at the time COVID was happening and the engaged couples in our church, they weren't able to do their pre-marriage retreats.
Okay.
So we were like, man, this is a perfect opportunity to serve these couples who are at home that still want to prepare for marriage intentionally. So yeah, that's what the summit was all about.
That's amazing. And in the course or in the coaching group, we're given a 3-month window to get it done. It took me probably 6 to 9 months. But how about you? Did you guys stick to the 3-month schedule? Or?
Yeah, we did the 90 days.
Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Huh?
Yeah, we did the 90 days.
That's a testament to teamwork in your relationship right there, my friend.
That's
incredible. So key question. And then we hope, as far as the marketing side, we've got these 60 amazing speakers. We hope or encourage those speakers to market to their audiences. So then people come and register for the summit. And then Raphy and Sarah, you two get to build your list. Tell me, how did that go? Were your expectations met with the marketing and the list build?
Honestly, like once we got our first opt-in and our first sale, like our expectations were met. Like we weren't trying to make like $1 million out of this thing. We were just like, is this gonna even work? Like we were so early in our business thing. Like we just wanted to see if people wanted it. But yeah, it exceeded our expectations, Misha. We built our list, I think, to like 1,500 or like 2,000 or something like that.
Okay.
And that was our first email list we've ever built ever. And we were able to get a good amount of those people who went through our summit into our coaching program as well. Like, and it's crazy because we didn't even build a coaching program. Like, we never had anything built, but we are just like, I feel like that's the next step. So let's try to get people on a call. And we've never done sales calls like to sell a program. And yeah, it's been really powerful. I think the relationships built there for sure, like in these people, because these people were willing to help, to serve and share their messages for free. I thought that was powerful. And these are relationships that we still carry on to this day, that we still keep in touch. We still, we meet with them in person, the people who spoke on our summit, and they've also introduced us to even newer partnerships and opportunities. We just secured a partnership with the biggest Catholic dating site in our niche. Like, they're huge. Like, everybody knows that brand. And now we're doing relationship stuff for them, for couples who are dating. And I think that's really powerful. So it was really worth it. Like, I'm glad we went through this route of building the summit, because the relationships that were built from this, and like getting to know the people who have already been doing this for so long already, and we're here just trying to learn it. They were just willing to say yes, like, hey, I want to serve these people. Like, that brought us hope that what we're doing actually matters, and matters for other people as well. So to bring them together to create this impact has been huge. So
Raphy, thank you for that. That's amazing. What you said that resonated so much for me was to see the process work, right?
Yeah.
Like, we create this summit and we put our life blood into this thing.
Oh yeah.
And then it goes live, and then somebody clicks register, and you're like, wait, what? People, this is working. People want to see this amazing thing that we've created, and then someone's like, yeah, I would like the VIP pass. It's like, wait, what? Right? That first time, it's like, wait. And then from there, it's like, doesn't matter. Just the vision of like, oh yeah, like, I'm onto something here. I'm going down. I'm on the right track. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a really cool process for sure. It helped build our confidence. Like, once we got those first couple people, I'm like, wow, like now that we know it's possible, like, how do we continue to grow this and all that stuff? Like, those were the conversations we started having, like, after, like, post summit, like, how do we ride on this now? Because people want what we are creating. Because, like, yeah, that was another belief thing that I was having a hard time. Like, why would couples who are not even married like put money into their relationship? Like, I wouldn't. like before, like when I was dating before, like I met Sarah, like I'm like, I wouldn't do something like that.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to work. Like, we're working with people who are not even married yet. So why would they spend $100? Why would they spend $1,000 like to get into our program? But we're seeing people doing it.
Yeah.
People doing it. People want to take action. So
yeah, that's beautiful. I think too, the fact that you're investing in the 2CCX and your own coaching and your own personal growth, it's like that pay it forward. It just happens, and one begets the other, right? Like, you are putting your money where your mouth is, shall we say, over here, and which leads for the openness for people to put their money in over there, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that's a good way to say it. What are your challenges these days? Where are we? So you're financially solvent now? Dare I ask, or is that okay if I ask that question?
Yeah, right now we're in a place where we're fine. It's just not consistent. So we're trying to figure out the consistency thing, because our coaching program is something that's desirable for our couples. Like, they want to do it. Yeah. the thing that we're trying to figure out now coming into 2022 is like, how do we consistently fill our program? Like, we know that it works. We know that it's transforming people's relationship. We know that it's helping people get married, but how do we do it on a consistent basis? Which is why we're in the process right now. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be launching a challenge, which is going to be kind of like the catapult, like the pre-qualification to see like who are the people who are serious about wanting to join our program. And if things work out the way that we're intending, like this is going to be our way of like consistently filling our program, because we know like it works and it's helping so many people. And now it's our moral responsibility to give this to people. And the fact that, we're not consistently doing that, I feel like it's like a disservice to the market. Like, people want to know that we're here, that we want to help them. So we got to figure this whole consistency thing out. So we're figuring that out. I've never ran an ad in my life. So that's been one of my biggest challenges, like what you're bringing up. Like, I have this fear of like, oh man, I'm going to spend all this money. What if it doesn't convert? Like, what if it doesn't work? And then also like, you see all those comments on people's ads, like bashing and judging the person. And I'm like, oh shoot. Like, I don't know if I want to put my,
Are you mentally ready for that? Right?
Yeah. Like, cause now I'm really putting myself out there. So the first year and a half of our business has all been organic. We've been doing all of our business through our email list and through social media. But now in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start running our first ads ever. That's going to be the next step. But I know once we figure that out, like, sky's the limit. Like once we start like putting everything out there so people know that we're here to serve them, I feel like I know it's going to create more problems. Now we're going to start getting all these other people like, oh shoot, now we have to serve all these people. Right. But those are good problems to have, right?
Those are good problems to have.
Yeah.
I love your path. I love that I get to watch it from a distance, and I feel very blessed to have you on here. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
What's the name, Raphy, of your challenge? Do you have it named yet?
Yeah. So our challenge is going to be called a Dating to Discern Couples Challenge. And it's a 5-day challenge for couples to go through who are dating to help them have that clarity and confidence of whether or not they should take that next step into marriage or not. So we're going to be, because a lot of the things that couples go through, there's a lot of like mental self-limiting beliefs that, oh, I'm not ready for marriage, or like, my parents had a bad marriage, so I don't know if I want to fully invest in something like that.
Yeah.
So what we want to do out of the challenge, we want to really help these couples like go through our challenge and completely transform and have that confidence to do this missionary work. Like, being a married couple is missionary work for God. It's building society. Like society is built on families and marriages. And we want to help them to not see that as like a fear and like, oh my gosh, it's a big thing, but like something that they want to do because they want to build society. They want to build the kingdom of God here on earth. And that's what our goal is for our challenge. I know it's a big like promise, but that's what we have everything to help them like go through all those things to have that confidence. And that's the next step.
The God shot that I just had, Raphy, as you were telling me that, like the hair, like the energy I mean, wow, beautiful. Like that is amazing. Thank you for that. Wow.
For sure.
That's a beautiful vision. Do we have a where can people go to sign up?
Yeah. It's going to be datingtodiscern.com. Yeah.
Datingtodiscern.com.
Yeah.
Perfect. Datingtodiscern.com. I will make sure to get that in the link. Everybody click on it. Datingtodiscern.com. Join the challenge and let's join the missionary. Well, I'm not. You said it better than me, man. Get on the mission to freaking enrich society or
Yeah.
grow society, or however you said that. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to having you on in another 6 months or a year so we can see the progress, the growth, the challenges, the ups and downs. Perhaps there'll be a baby number 3 in the mix.
Maybe. Maybe.
I want to make sure that we, like, what am I missing? What question? Really, like, Misha, I wish you'd asked this question, or like, what did we miss anything here, Raphy?
No, I feel like this was a good conversation, especially talking about the business aspect. So no, this is fun.
Okay, good. So nothing to add. No final thoughts or comments.
No, I think that's it. I mean, like I'm gonna speak to the entrepreneur that's probably watching this. Like maybe you are in a place where you were just like me, starting up and like starting from scratch. Maybe you have this vision that you want to do something and you want to serve people. You've got, like, do it. Like there's a God-given purpose that has been put in your heart to do that thing. And you've been equipped with experiences, with gifts to serve those people that you've been called to serve. And what a disservice to say no to that call and just follow your heart, follow what your desire to serve people, and don't even think about like the money. Like and that's something I'm learning, especially in the business space, because everybody's like showing me like, oh, I made this revenue and putting their awards. And I kind of, like, early on, I was getting caught up in that mess. Like, oh, I should always be thinking about the money and the revenue. But like when I put myself in a position to serve, even early on in my startup journey, when I wasn't making a lot of money, like that was the thing that helped me to build a business that actually I love, to serve the people that I actually love. It wasn't for the money. It was because I wanted to serve. And I know the money will come. But like, you just got to put yourself out there, especially if you're starting up and you're trying to do something. Like, put yourself out there, take imperfect action and fail fast, because it's worth it. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt, but man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful process.
It's a beautiful process. Thank you for that so much, Raphy, and thank you, Raphy and Sarah, who's out there wrangling the kids right now. Raphy and Sarah Feolino. It's been beautiful. Anybody watching, datingtodiscern.com. But more importantly, if you're that that entrepreneur who's watching and listening right now, take the leap, take the risk, follow your heart, and how can we serve? So poignant. So thank you so much, Raphy.
Yeah.
It's been a ton of fun. I'm going to hit stop and we'll say goodbye offline.
Cool. Thanks so much, Misha. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.